Okay, we've been talking for years about how we might be able to, in some way, expand the offerings of the David Pakman Show to appeal also to reach more people who don't speak English or maybe don't speak English well enough to really watch like political discussion shows like this one. What might we be able to do? The sort of obvious idea in terms of another language would be Spanish. I'm from Argentina. My first language is Spanish. I learned English as a second language when I moved here. And Spanish would be the sort of natural way to go in my mind. Number one, because it's the only other language I speak fluently. And also because it seems like it would be a good target population in the United States, given that we mostly deal with American politics because of the increased importance of the Spanish-speaking voter in influencing elections in the United States. Now, from a practical standpoint, we're pretty busy just doing the show in English that we do and the bonus show for members in English that we do and live streams in English that I do. So the idea of me doing an entire additional show in Spanish seems to sort of stretch the limits of what is possible, given that the day is 24 hours long and I also need some time to sleep. But I was contacted by two graduate students who developed a system that can take our captions. We now caption all of our content on YouTube in English, obviously. They've developed a system that can take those captions, dub them into other languages, including Spanish, and then sync them to the original videos that we are doing. Now, it's not perfect, but it's very interesting. Here's a clip, just 45 seconds from one of the stories I did on Monday, where the captions were taken, turned into a Spanish narration, and then placed over the video from that day. Take a look.
Fue un fin de semana realmente loco, fuera de la Casa Blanca. Donald Trump sufrió una fusión extraña por una historia del Washington Post sobre tweets y les hizo enviar tweets aún más locos. Así que el sábado, The Washington Post escribió sobre los tweets racistas de Donald Trump el domingo. Casi como un día más tarde, Trump pasó su mañana perdiendo la cabeza por el Washington publicar historia. Y uno de los temas de ese artículo del Washington Post, que se obtuvo ampliamente a pesar de los tweets que estás a punto de ver, el Washington Post hizo un muy buen trabajo. La Casa Blanca ayuda a asesores, legisladores y otros que participaron en el manejo de Trump en respuesta al agujero, vuelva al fiasco de su país original. Básicamente compartió la misma perspectiva con el Washington Post.
Okay, so anybody who speaks Spanish will realize it is not perfect. But we started the David Pakman Show in English to reach as many people as possible and to try to influence politics and policy to the extent that we are able in a way that we think is for the betterment of the country. What we could do is start a second YouTube channel, The David Pakman Show Spanish. On a daily basis, all of the content we do on the regular David Pakman Show channel in English could be dubbed and put on the David Pakman Show Spanish channel. It would be the same stories. It would be the same content dubbed to Spanish. The downsides are it's not perfect. Like I said, obviously it would be better for me to just do the entire show again in Spanish, but it's just not possible. It's not practical. Another downside is we'd be starting from scratch with an audience. Most of our current audience is an English-speaking audience. And even though Spanish is a language that is often taken by people in high school, college, whatever, the majority of our audience is not going to switch over or be interested in the David Pakman Show in Spanish. So we're sort of like starting from scratch, trying to build a new audience. The other downside is this is not free, right? There's a cost to getting the dubbed videos, to managing an additional YouTube channel. The upsides are similar or related to the downsides. It is a completely new market. On the one hand, we're starting from scratch, trying to build an audience in Spanish, but it is a completely new market. I believe it's a valuable service to people who live in the United States but don't speak English well enough to consume political content in English. They could become engaged. The other upside is I don't know of any other American progressive media show that is doing something like this. And sometimes being the first to do something can be a really great advantage and provide something that is extraordinarily valuable. So we could get this going relatively quickly if we decide to. I want to hear from you. What do you think about this? Is it good enough to warrant doing? Should we be waiting for some better technology? Should we just look at translating the captions to Spanish? Seems less engaging for sure. This would be a channel with Spanish language titles, Spanish descriptions. It would all be in Spanish. So I think it's interesting. I want to hear from you. Contact me by email. This is the best way now. When I really want to hear serious commentary from the audience, use the contact form at davidpakman.com to get in touch and tell me what you think about this idea.